Hello dear yogis, and welcome to this very special full moon Imbolc, welcoming in the spring, new beginnings, meditation and visualization practice. So sorry that I haven't posted a video in a little while, so I'm working on quite a big project at the moment, which I can't share too much with you at the moment, but hopefully I will let you know soon. But yeah, it's meant my time for kind of making videos and doing blog posts and things like that. It's just not been there at this moment in time, but hopefully all will be revealed soon and I'll have a bit more time for videos again. But I really wanted to make time for this today because we had that amazing huge supermoon last night. So blue moon, blood moon, full moon, lunar eclipse, I think was all of its titles, if I've got that right. And then also today is the 1st of February, so we get to say goodbye to the month of January, which I know for most of us is kind of a challenge. It's always a struggle every year. You know, the days are dark, it's cold, it's usually really rainy as well. You know, it's that sort of post-Christmas blues that we all kind of suffer with. And as well as that, we're low on energy, there's lots of colds and things going around, so it can just be a little bit of a struggle. And maybe those intentions, those New Year's resolutions that we've been kind of trying to keep start to sort of dwindle, and that can kind of make us feel a little bit low as well. So today is the first day of a new month, first day of February, and then depending on what you follow, today or tomorrow is the celebration that was called Imbolc, which is a kind of old Celtic festival where we welcome in the beginnings of spring. And it's that midpoint between winter and spring equinox, so we can really start to get a sense of the days beginning to get lighter. We start to see things, I know for me anyway, I'm starting to see things growing in my garden, which is very exciting. It's an amazing thing, you just start to spot these tiny little bits of green, and I get a real feeling of hope and that sort of glimpse into the warmer kind of summery, brighter days. So what we're going to do in the meditation today is kind of combining all of these things really. So full moon times are always a time when we try and release the things that are no longer serving us. So if you're working with the moon cycles, and I'm going to do some courses on this and some videos and some tools to help you work with the moon. I know a lot of people have asked me to do that. But what we would do in a sort of structure of the moon cycle is the new moon or the dark moon, that beginning of the moon cycle, where there's no moon in the sky, no moon appearing at that time. We set our intentions for the coming month or moons, if you like. The moon begins to wax, it begins to grow in size, and that's the time where we start to act on those intentions. So if we've got a particular goal in mind, we would start to put things in place to make that goal a reality. So we get to full moon, so the moon is at its full capacity, high energy time, and we have a look. So it might be that we haven't been able to manifest that particular goal. It might be that it's an ongoing or long-term thing. So when the full moon arrives, we check in and we kind of have a look at what's worked, you know, whether we've been able to manifest or achieve that goal, whether we're on the right track, and maybe the things that haven't worked. So the full moon arrives and we sit with that, we reflect. A lot of people like to journal about what's happening, you know, and if you try something and it doesn't work, then we let it go. So we try and use the full moon time to just release, to just think, you know what, it didn't work, I tried, I'm going to try something different. But we let go of the emotional attachment to the result of that goal or whatever it was that we were trying to achieve. We bring in forgiveness as well. A lot of the time, you know, things don't work out because of external circumstances or other people as well. So try and bring in forgiveness to that practice as well, where we think, okay, if there's someone that I've been blaming or holding a mind of resentment towards, I forgive, I release, I let go. And then, as well as all of that, sometimes it's easy to get caught up in what's not working out, or what's not appearing to us. So the full moon is also a really important time for gratitude. So So rather than just thinking, oh, okay, this didn't work out, I'm not, on track to get what I want, which can make us feel a little bit low, we start to think, okay, but what has happened in the last couple of weeks that's been really positive? We look at the blessings in our life, we look at the support that people have offered us, we look at the abundance that we actually do have when we look and we see that it's there. So we have those kind of three major things at full moon times. So release and let go of what hasn't worked, what's no longer serving us. We forgive maybe ourselves or others or external circumstances. And we appreciate, so we bring in that abundance mindset and that gratitude practice. And then once the full moon starts to fade, so we start to go into the waning phase of the moon, it's just a time for quiet, it's a time for reflection, and it's a time for just, you can almost imagine taking deep breaths, after you've had all the heightened energy of the full moon. So we start to move into a reflective quality, right the way back into the new moon or the dark moon, where we once again sit down and we think about what we'd like to create in the coming month. So for some people, that's what they're doing through every moon cycle. There's this ebb and this flow. And we try and work, I know for me, I'm trying to do that more and more now with my diary. So I'm trying to look at the things that I'm doing in full moon time. So this week I've had a huge week. I've been teaching on a retreat. I've had my own classes, this project which I can't tell you about just yet. We've got our lunar yoga event tomorrow night. I've got a workshop on Saturday, but I kind of look at that week around the full moon, and I know that that's okay because I don't tend to sleep as well because of the heightened energy of that moon. I know I'm just going to have more energy. I'm kind of a little bit more fiery at that time, so I can plan a kind of epic week for full moon weeks, and I'm kind of okay. However, waning moon, new moon time, I'm exhausted, I'm low on energy. It's normally the time of the month as well for me, so I've hit with low energy for that as well. So I look at those kind of few days or those weeks and I think, okay, those are not the weeks to be doing lots of things. Those are the weeks for me to have time at home, for me to have time for myself, for self-care, for my own rituals, my own meditation practice, maybe go and get a massage, these types of things. And then again, you look, okay, building up, waxing to full moon, I can be a little bit more active. So these are the ways that we can start to work with nature and start to be really in harmony with the cycles of life. So we've got that going on in a monthly basis, and then when you look at the seasons, we've got those at play as well. So as I mentioned before, when we were looking at our Advent calendar yoga practices and we did a meditation for the winter solstice, that's a time of year. Winter is a time almost like a new moon time, waning moon time, where you just don't do as much. We rest, we reflect, we restore, and we gather what we need for the sort of springtime, much like nature herself is doing. So now we started moving into spring. It's like that waxing moon time where we start to think, okay, I can start to do a little bit more. The days are a little bit lighter. Things are growing again. That gives us a sign that it's okay to start picking up the pace a little bit. It's okay to start acting on some of those intentions and wishes that we created in winter. And then summer, you can imagine as full moon, we really busy in summer, we can start to act on all of those things, we can do lots more. And then again, we start to move into autumn, we can imagine that's like the waning moon, winter, new moon. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. But what's really beautiful about working with the seasons and working with the moon cycles is you start to manage your energy levels in a really intuitive, really respectful way. What we tend to do now in the modern world is just go all the time. We don't operate in any cycles. We don't really even operate in respect towards the hours of light in the day. We have so much artificial stimulation. Many of us are staying up way too late at night, and we're on our devices, stimulating, overloading the brain, not having any rest. So this is like my huge passion really for this year, for my own practice, is just to try and be a little bit more in tune with nature, with the cycles. And I'm already finding with that practice that it's making a really big positive impact on my health and my well-being. And just my ability to say no to things. If it's at a time of year where it's a low energy time, or it's a time of month when it's low energy and people are asking me to do lots of things, I just say no. And I respect that my body just cannot do that at that time. And then I know that in a couple of weeks, for sure, I can help you. I can do more. Particularly for me as a massage therapist, I have to be careful with that. How much energy I'm giving out, making sure that I stay well and healthy. So with all of that in mind, what we're going to do in this meditation practice is use that information, use this time, this powerful day today to do exactly that. So we're going to release from winter, from January, from anything that we want to let go of. We're going to forgive. We're going to appreciate what we have, what we've had in January or over Christmas. And then we're going to look forward into the coming month. Okay, so you guys get yourself set up however you want to do this. If you want to do the practice lying down, just be aware that if you're tired or you get too cozy that you might fall asleep. But it's not such a big issue with a recording, because you can just, I've done this loads of times where you just wake up and you're, okay, I'll just hit play again and do it again. It's harder when we're in person and we have just that opportunity. So a lot of the time I ask people to sit up because I don't want them to miss the meditation. Alright, so you can do this lying down, get comfy, or you're going to take a seated position, so you don't have to take cross-legged. If it doesn't work for you, you can sit up on a chair. Just make sure that the spine is long, the shoulders are relaxed, and that you can sit in this position for a little while. Okay, our meditation will probably take about 10 minutes, so just a position that you know that you can hold for that long. Okay, so from here, you're going to close your eyes, and I want you to take some nice deep breaths in through the nose. And we're going to exhale out the mouth. So just feeling yourself settling into this meditation posture and arriving in the here and the now. Temporary, just leaving behind anything else that you were thinking about before, so that you can really use this time for yourself. So what we're going to use in this meditation, I really like visualizations, I like analogies, I like nature. So we're going to use the visualization of a garden. You might not have a garden, but you can picture one. What would you like your garden to look like if you did have one? Or if you have one, you bring it to your mind. So I want you to imagine that your life, your mind, is this garden. Okay, so as we look around our gardens at this time, I know from my garden at the moment, as I said, there's some things that are starting to grow. There's some plants that just look really dead, and I'm not sure they're going to come back, or they might just be biding their time. And there's some things that I know are okay, but they just haven't started to grow again. So in terms of what we're releasing or we're wanting to let go of in our life, I want you to picture those things. It might be habits of mind, it might be experiences that you just think, you know what, I don't want to give that any more energy, I want to let go. I want you to imagine those things as the plants in the garden that have died, and they're not going to make an appearance again. And I want you to imagine that you're actually starting to remove those from your garden. So you've accepted they're dead, they belong to the past, they're not going to make it this spring or this summer. And whatever you want to use as a visualization, you can imagine yourself unpotting them if they were potted plants. You can imagine digging them up from the earth and then starting to, however you like to do that, dispose of those plants. So you might be composting, you might be putting them somewhere else, but getting a sense of letting go, of releasing those things that are just not serving you anymore. And there's a real sense of acceptance about that. There's a sense of, they didn't make it, they're not needed, they're actually taking up space in the garden where something beautiful could grow. Okay, then going to imagine, so in this garden there are plants, flowers that have lasted through the winter. They've started to bloom again. They might just be tiny green shoots, but they're still there. And they've actually been there through the winter. So you've noticed, for me in my garden, I brought this beautiful winter jasmine, and she's just been flowering all over Christmas and January. Beautiful, happy yellow flowers. And I've been so, so grateful for that presence in the garden. Pretty much the only thing that's alive and happy. So these plants are the things in your life that you are really grateful for. It might be the friendships in your life, it might be the experiences that you've had through Christmas, through December, through January. Just anything that you're really grateful for, that warming presence in your life that sustained you through the winter months. Imagining that as you look around your garden and just think, I'm so grateful that you're there. You're reminding me of the beauty of spring and summer. Okay, so we've got those two things going on in our garden. So we have released, we've let go of those plants that are dead, not working, taking up space. We've looked around and seen what's already there that is still alive, beautiful presence in our life, and we felt that gratitude. So before we move to look ahead, this is that last little bit that we need to do. We just need to forgive. So forgive the circumstances in our life that have prevented other things from growing that maybe we wanted to grow. So there were things in the garden that didn't grow, and we were happy to release them. We think, you know what, it's gone, it's done. But maybe we were trying to grow other things and they haven't taken hold. Or maybe, I mean it's metaphorically, but you know, animals got to them or something happened to destroy that plant. So in your life, you think about the things that you wanted from the last couple of months that maybe somebody else interfered with. Notice that resentment abiding in your heart, and we try and let go. So again, we think it's done, it didn't work, you know, it died, whatever it is that you're sort of using to help you. And you just think, I forgive myself. If it was my fault, I forgive myself. If it was somebody else's fault, I forgive, because not forgiving is also taking up space in this garden. If you imagine that garden, keeping a dead plant in the garden just because you don't want to let go of the fact that you wanted it to grow, it's still taking up space. You know, it actually starts to look ugly. So keeping resentment, keeping anger, keeping that irritation towards another person is ugly in our mind. It takes up space that something beautiful could grow in. So I want you to let go of those as well. So lastly, we look around the garden and there are things that maybe we have already planted or we know will rebloom shortly, whether that's this month or the next few months. So these plants are our wishes, our intentions, our goals. what we would like from our life in the next few months. So they might not be in bloom yet, they might not even look like they're there, but we know that sooner or later we're going to start to see those green shoots, we're going to start to see those buds developing. And those are our wishes, our dreams, our hopes. So I want you to imagine that you're just tending to those plants in your garden. You're keeping them safe, you're looking after them, you're making sure that the weeds are not getting in the way of that development of that plant. So you can think of the weeds in your mind as being fear, doubt, lack of self-confidence, anything that's keeping us from following our dreams, from manifesting our wishes. And we're going to need to keep cultivating, keep tending to that garden, so checking in, how am I doing, how are they doing? Is anything hindering their growth and development? How can I keep feeding them, keep watering them, make sure they get sunshine? I just want you to imagine you've sat yourself down in a quiet space in your garden, and it's a time of year now, we're not going to see huge changes. We've done the work, we've released, we've gotten rid of the dead. We're tending to the things that are growing, we're appreciating the things that have remained. It's not a huge hive of activity, so just allow yourself to sit in that space, in that quiet, and just say to yourself, it's coming. Spring is coming. So we're not quite at that yang, energizing phase just yet. We're in the middle. We don't have to be super restful like we were in winter, but we're not kind of fast-paced, supercharged either. It's a really nice time of year actually for contentment, because we have to be patient as things grow and develop. So I want you to just sit in that space. You're in your garden and you're just content. You know that you're working towards your desires, your goals, your dreams. Been able to shed the things from winter that no longer serve you. And you're content because you're abiding in gratitude to all that you have. What I'd just like you to finish with in this meditation is just almost zoom your mind up from your garden, from yourself. And if you imagine that I don't know where you live obviously, but just imagine that you have neighbours, if you don't, if you live in the middle of nowhere, but bring your bird's eye view up and you notice, you look down and you can see all these other people in their gardens. They're tending to their hopes, their dreams. They're trying to weed their garden. They're trying to say goodbye to the things that didn't work. And as we look down, we notice that we are all exactly the same. We're in the same process together. And it's just nice, as always in yoga, it's not a practice just for the self. We're always developing an altruistic heart, a heart that eventually can hold every living being inside it. So as you look down, I just want you to take a moment here to just send everybody well wishes for the coming months. So you just think, I hope that the flowers in your garden bloom. I hope the weeds don't get to your beautiful flowers. I hope you're able to get rid of the flowers, the plants that died, and not hold on to them like thorns in your heart. May you be happy, may you have abundance, may you be safe. that warmth of that loving and kind heart of yours, start to deepen your breath. Let's draw the palms of the hands together, generate that heat between the palms of the hands. And then keeping your eyes closed, we're going to bring those palms over the eye sockets, just holding them there, allowing that heat to be absorbed into the eyes. And then opening your eyes when you're ready, take your time. Allow your eyes to adjust to the light in the room. Okay, so what I would really recommend for you to do if you've got time today, and it might be something that you do later on depending on what you've got time to do now, but if you've got time, I would really like you to journal about your experience in the meditation. So I'd like you to write about the things that you said goodbye to. I'd like you to write about the things that you were grateful for. I'd like you to write about the things that you could forgive. And I'd like you to acknowledge the weeds in your garden. So if you, in that meditation, if you felt like there was a presence of things that are starting to hamper your dreams, so it's usually fear, like fear is the biggest one really. And I know for myself with this project that I'm doing at the moment, fear is massively getting involved and interfering at every step of the way. And I'm really trying to manage that to the best of my ability. And I felt that real presence in that meditation of that fear like weed in my garden. So I'd like you to write about that. And then I want you to write about the things that you want to grow, the things that you're protecting and cultivating and caring for. And then what you can do now is next full moon, you come back to this meditation or you come back to this journal. The meditation will change because the seasons are changing. But come back to your journal and acknowledge, you can say, okay, actually those weeds well and truly took over, and I need to look at that. Or, I was able to keep on top of that really well. And you can say, actually, I didn't fully release those things, that they kept creeping back in. Or maybe you felt a huge sense of relief. And then you can journal about how you're cultivating your wishes, maybe particular practical steps that you've taken, and things like this. And you just start to stay really tuned in to the powerful intentions that you've made. So yeah, if you've got time, please sit, journal. You might want to do the meditation again tomorrow. Okay, I really, really hope you enjoyed that, and I will be back soon, hopefully with an announcement and hopefully with some more videos for you. Alright, you take care of yourself and happy February, okay? Namaste.